What's cooking, Atlan? Back in the place to be. Today we are doing a follow-up regarding the latest video I've dropped about showcasing all the available Berserker raid builds. Apparently, based on your comments, not everything was there. So this is why we are here today, to showcase as well everything from you guys, from the comments, whatever you wanted me to test. Of course, I didn't tested the troll builds. Well, I did, but I'm not gonna place them here as the damage goes like a joke. No point for me to showcase that as well. Yeah, only the serious ones. I want also to point out that many of you complained about the chariot rotation of mine. Well, I know that the rotation was wrong. I wanted just to point out that even with a bad rotation, still you could do more damage. I mentioned at some point that we were trying out with 100% crit. Today we are not gonna try with 100% crit. We are at normal stats, as the chariot set has some issues when you manually switch to 100% crit. The damage for some reason remains the same, like the 25% crit damage that you gain from having 100% crit doesn't work. So with normal stats, this is what we are going to do today. Also, I want to mention that I said on my video about the chariot set and ancient battlefield or minewars or whatever, it doesn't work there. My bad, I'm sorry. Since you can't activate pet skills inside there as well, so there is no way to activate the chariot effect. As you guys saw already, I'm with normal stats. I'm not gonna show you the entire run, as I want to make this video as short as possible. So I'm gonna just give you the results. The first showcase is us having, from the previous video, from my perspective, my take purely, the best set that you could possibly have if you also care about PvP, those modes. Some people run this variation in exchange of a chariot helmet. I don't find it bad in terms of PvP, as this one is better, way better for PvE, right? For PvP, maybe the other variation is better, as you can't hit static targets. For static targets, this is better. Also for raids, I value it more, since you have a lot of time, you know, to spam your skills on the boss. Anyway, this was the best, one of the best variations from the previous video. All right, let's go to the final screen. Let me put your favorite customized cursor here, because many of you like it. Apply. All right, so I can point out things easier, right? Here we are, 300 million on the first run with 2 cavalry pieces, 3 chariot from the previous video as well. Then I switch to the usual, which is actually my current build. I've decided that this one breaks everything regarding PvE. I want to also underscore this thing, that we are not discussing about PvP so much today. We're discussing mostly about PvE. All right. So what we're doing here is this beautiful build over here with 2 cavalry pieces and 3 chariot. Of course, we keep the helmet and the boots, and we're just going for the chariot here. It's more comfortable as well to activate chariot this way, because you are not relying so much on the finisher, and I found this variation more suited for my playstyle as well. And let's move on to the final verdict. I'm not gonna show you here the actual rotation. I have something prepared for you guys at the end of the video. First, I'm gonna show the builds. Alright, and this variation, as you see, picked, not even picked 400 million for fun, like 90 million ahead of the previous build that I showcased, which is crazy. Now I moved on to the next variation. Let's don't waste time at all. Alright. Don't want to make again a 40 minutes video. I want to make it as short as possible. Alright, listen now. I will give you a short explanation here. In case you want to run, many people requested that as well, show us 3 chariot to destiny. Listen here. If you want to run 3 chariot to destiny, you're not gonna run boots. Alright, you're gonna run chest, and you will remain with your destiny, with your class set boots. The reason that I'm doing that here is because, yes, you have better stats, like Chariot Boots gives you critical and critical damage, so based on the stats it's better, but in order to activate the Chariot effect it's way more difficult as you need basic attacks and it's something inconsistent. But since we are here testing in a static target, if this variation, alright, this is the best variation for static targets if the target doesn't move, alright? So if this variation doesn't do a decent proportion of damage, everything else that you run with 3 Chariot and 2 Destiny pieces won't, alright? In static targets. In everything else, of course, it's better if you do decide to do something like that, to of course have the chest instead of the boots. And let's move on to the final layer. Alright, 320 million damage. Nothing fancy, nothing bad as well. Still, we are ahead of the first variation that I saw you with the 2 cavalry pieces. So it seems like now that we have a low crit chance as well, that Chariot shines a lot. I moved on out of curiosity and I did try it as well. A variation that I skipped the boots out of curiosity to prove my point that you can do more damage with the boots and without having the boots in a static target. And let's move on to the final verdict, the final layer. As you see, it was way lower, 290, so that proved my point. That's why I was so confident before I reached to this point to say that, right? Stats, it seems that stats overrule in a way the set activation as the target doesn't move. It's very easy to activate the chariot effect. Alright, and another thing based on what I said earlier is the Starbreaker items, right? Many of you requested that. Also, my boy Atlan dropped a video about all the Hexes pieces and included a set, again, 3 Chariot helmet, chest and gloves, and Starbreaker, pants and boots. Why this way? Because it's more easy to activate your Chariot effect rather than relying on basic attacks from your boots, right? This is why. But in order of stats, actually the chest, yeah, and the pants give you better stats. So in this variation as well, if we can't do as much damage as we did before with everything else that we've tried so far, means that even if I switch to boots on static targets again, I want to highlight that as much as possible so you don't come on comments and tell me for raids, for PvP this is better. Yeah, I know. This is why I'm showcasing that, because if you can't do more damage by using the most optimized build in static targets, nothing else will surpass it, right? Meaning that the activation of a skill and a resonance skill and a pet skill from the variation I showed you earlier, which is kinda easy just to press 2 buttons when you want and spam your ultimate as it gets the buff. It's very easy, so that's exactly the reason why we're doing the showcase as following, as you see. Right. Surprisingly though, it's not a bad build at all, right? 340. I know that the proc for the Starbreaker is having higher crit chance, and we are right now at 70%. Additionally, that will boost as well the Chariot effect, so technically this build can reach more damage, but have in mind as well that in order to actually have more crit chance, right, to reach 90% with the way that this build is, and if I have also to replace the boots, because the Chariot boots that I'm running right now they have crit on them, I will drop a lot on my crit chance, and I will be forced to either switch circuits from crit damage to crit chance or something else, and I will lose damage from there, alright? So if someone was about to argue, this is exactly the reason why this is a good build, of course, alright? You see that the damage is actually high, but doesn't cut it in terms of everything else that we've tried so far. Alright, listen. Let's actually see the run. This is the optimized Chariot run as well for me, so people can see that as well. and we don't have complaints on the comments. Worth to mention that after the switch I've done to every single gear, or not every single gear, but most of the gear that I had, I switched like 3 or 4 pieces. I was playing 3 chariot, I was playing 3 chariot, 1 cavalry and 1 unforgiving, cavalry greaves and unforgiving boots, and I've changed everything entirely based on my tests on the test server and went. This is what you are seeing now. I went from this build to 2 cavalry, helmet and boots, and 3 chariot pieces. And this is exactly why I'm keeping the ultimate now, because when I activate with my pet skill and the resonance the second chariot, I threw the second ultimate to do as much damage as possible. Anyway, you can cast this ultimate more than 2 times within your 1 and 30 minutes rotation, and I'll probably do something like the same in the 3rd rotation of the chariot, keep my ultimate again and spam it there. For the 3rd resonance, it doesn't matter so much. I've tried even to activate the resonance now in the last 20 seconds. It didn't do any difference. Maybe I did like 1 million less or something like that, because I'll cast the ultimate like in the last seconds, from what I remember here. In the last 3 seconds. Maybe it didn't crit, but doesn't really matter. I did some other runs, reached like 405, maybe it was my highest. What I wanted to point out is that firstly, this what you saw here is from a 58k guy, 58k Berserker. 0 crit chance. I'm playing with the normal stats as well. No potions, no buffs activated. I'm gonna show that probably here. Yeah, nothing activated. I'm gonna show you also my stats. I don't have something extraordinary. Also wrong weapon, because this build, exactly as you see it, would be freaking awesome if I had the madness instead, as I would have more crit and more crit damage. All the skills would be higher, and my Hell of Destruction had more damage. So maybe I'm losing 30 to 40 million as well, just from a wrong choice of weapon, because I had on mind, maybe it works on Berserker, and maybe I build like a full cavalry set, and I'm having even more damage from the Madness version. No, okay? Whoever is trying to do that and thinking of doing that, no. Heads up, no. You won't do more damage, you will lose a lot of damage. So for our class, sadly, even if you stack, I don't know, enormous amount of cooldown reduction, it won't work, because we can't proc the effect of the cavalry constantly. We can proc it with some skills, and of course cooldown reduction is important for us, but not to run it with the cavalry set, right? And that's it for today. I hope you're satisfied now, my boys, my Berserkers. Now I feel more ready than ever to also drop some other classes, as I understood completely how those pieces work and what defines them to be actually good on classes. A lot of people overestimate cooldown reduction. I'll say that on some classes like ours, it's like super huge to have decent cooldown reduction, because you can spam mega skills every now and then. And with that said, happy grinding. I will be very busy for whoever stayed till the end of the video, as to close beta tests dropping soon. Here's your nightmare that I want to try so bad. It is one of my list games, and I don't know if it's good. Maybe you lose me. And of course, Sword of Justice, another MMO dropping, free to play friendly, Chinese. The company behind Sword of the game is a Chinese company, so Chinese mentality, I was about to say. But the players, they are saying that the game is very free to play friendly, and additionally some Chinese people that I know, specifically my sponsors that are from China, some of them told me that it's a very famous game on China. As a matter of fact, more famous than Crystal of Atlan, and both games are like 2 years out, so definitely I'm gonna try that as well. Anyway, drop your like, drop your comment, curse me, tell me that my rotation was completely garbage. This is what hypes me, you know, and motivates me to keep making video and doing content. And until next time, see ya!